Okay. So if you recall what we have studied in the last class, particle size analysis. Okay. So base, is it visible? Visible, right?
Ah,
Okay. So if you recall, we have studied about the particle size distribution, coarse grained soil. Okay. That means above 75 micron, we call it as a coarse grained soil. 75, above the 75 micron, if all the soils remains retain on that, we call it as a coarse grained soil. In that coarse grained soil, we have gravel and the sand. Okay, below 75, which is passing through the 75, it is fine grained soil, and that can be silt or a clay. Okay, so what I said is yesterday we have discussed about the coarse grained soil, which is written on the 75 micron. So still today we will discuss about coarse grain soil only, and maybe tomorrow next class we will discuss something about the fine grain soil, which is passing through the 75 micron. That is very complicated things. Okay, we cannot do with the help of sieve. Okay, we cannot sieve it below 75. We do some hydrometer analysis. That means some suspension techniques are there to categorize that one. Okay, so there are some methods like hydrometer analysis. We'll prepare some suspension and so still again we'll discuss something about this uh, coarse grain soil only, and we have seen two terms, coefficient of curvature and the coefficient of uniformity, and this is what the grade, and I said that well graded soil is which is having all types of particles. Okay, gap graded is some particles of size are missing, hump. Coarse grain will fall in this way, fine grain is fall in that way, uh, and this is the uniform means all of equal size. So this is the definition of CU and the CC. Okay, now what we'll do is uh, let me check it. Today we'll discuss something about the relative density. That is very important term. Okay, for sandy soil we always talk about this relative density. So it is not about the density we know it. Okay, and which relative density is something different. Okay, so they have given some definition. So always we try to use this term relative density, especially for a coarse grain soil. So uses of particle size distribution curves are given here. Okay, we can classify it. Already we have seen it. And one more topic is shape of the particle also very important. Because some particles may be angular, some particles may be rounded and so on. So for our construction, for our bearing capacity, okay, we always prefer angular type of particles in coarse grain soil, the sand, whatever you see. See, so it looks like this. It is given like that. Angular shape would be like this: is subangular, sub-surrounded, rounded, and well-rounded. So difficult to get well-rounded, but we have categorized like this. Okay, so this for our for bearing capacity purpose. So these angular particles are very important. So this angular particle will give a high shear strength. Understand? So soil will always have strength in shear only. Okay, if you have this rounded particle, then it will try to slip, and there would be settlement in the soil. Okay, there won't be much friction, and it will try to slip, and there would be more settlement. So we should not have more settlement for a building. If you have more settlement, what happens? Building will try to settles down, and there would be a cracks in the building. It should not settle down, not even few also, 1 centimeter also it should not settle down. 1 centimeter causes so much damage to the building. Okay, cracks in the building. That's why you might have seen some buildings developing the cracks. Okay, those who have constructed in the clay type of soil. Okay, so black cotton clay soil. Okay, so likewise, even some buildings. I Somebody told me now the Andhra capital is there. No, those who are from Andhra may know Amravati. So it is fully of irrigated land. Okay, the capital city. So I think a lot of politics is going on to shift it. Okay, I think shifted only. So there, no, buildings are constructed on a clay soil. Okay, it is on the bank of the river. So there, we need to go much deeper. The foundation should be strong and the it should rest or use pile foundation or something like that. If you are not doing that one, then what do you will see a lot of settlement in the soil, clay soil. Because of that, you could see the cracks in the building. Once the crack develops, then rainwater will try to penetrate and so on. Ultimately, the life of the structures reduces. Okay, so angular particles are easy to break. Okay, compared to this one, but it is easy to slip. So this always better to have angular particle for a sand or gravel. Understand? Compared to rounded particles. Even for aggregate also, you know that aggregates, suppose whatever aggregate we use for our buildings should be of some angular shape only. Rounded shape, we cannot get friction between the reinforcement steel and the concrete and the cement and the sand. No much friction. So if we use the rounded shape, this rounded shape where generally you find this particular stone in a river bed. Okay, Kaveri river bed. If you go, you'll find all these rounded, very smooth stones. That kind of stone we should not use it for our construction. We have to break it. We have to make it angular, make it rough. Okay, then you can use it. So friction is more important here. Okay, whether it may be for a stone or a rod. Rod means steel rods, steel reinforcement bars. That also twisted, right? You might have seen our steel reinforcement also twisted to generate the friction. Some reinforcement bars are smooth also, mild steel and other, but high steel HYED bar are yielding bars are twisted. So friction is very important for us. Okay, for engineers especially. Without friction, no, we can't walk also. So or even we cannot drive our vehicle also. Nice car. Okay, so you should have proper friction. So this is all about given. Okay, how to find. Now next term is relative density. Okay, this is the most important parameter for a sandy soil. For a sand, you can say relative density. We always talk about the relative density, and uh, in the while doing experiment also, when you do project. Okay, suppose in the laboratory. Okay, suppose under me. So if I ask you to work on the sand, I say that with this relative density you must use this and so on. We'll conduct some experiment. Our PhD scholars also conduct some experiment. Uh, so here the term relative density is defined as, look at very carefully. It is represented with the dr, also known as density index, id. It is defined as E max by E divided by E max minus E minimum multiplied by the 100, will get the percentage of the relative density. This is the definition that is given. So what is E max? The wide ratio of the max means when you will have the soil, sand will have more wide ratio in a loosest condition. Maximum wide ratio of the soil in the loosest condition. E minimum is minimum wide ratio of the soil in the densest condition. We have seen that loosest and the densest. In the densest condition, the wide ratio would be, we call it a E minimum. Okay, E minimum, densest, minimum wide ratio of the soil in the densest conditions. E normally is the wide ratio in the natural state. That means this natural state wide ratio we can find out easily, because in the last class itself we have seen that we can use the sand replacement or core cutter method, mass by volume will give the bulk density or bulk unit weight. From the bulk density, we can calculate the dry unit weight. From the dry unit weight, once you know the specific gravity, you can get the E. There must be some formula given here. Okay, so likewise, we can get it E. What is E? Dry density is equal G gamma W by 1 plus E. We have seen these equations. Okay, so this is the definition for the relative density. This is the definition for the relative density. The E is the void ratio in the natural state. This is E max minus E min. Remember, okay, now itself. Now, depending on the relative density, the soil is classified as very loose, loose, medium dense, dense, or very dense. If you get a relative density less than 15%, we call it as a very loose. If it is 15 to 35, loose state. 35 to 65, medium. 65 to 85, dense, very dense, 100. Okay, so likewise, once you calculate this relative density, we can easily know that what is the value of relative density, whether soil is in a dense conditions or loose condition. Now, how generally we find out this E max and E minimum? We have seen that natural E void ratio of the soil we can find out. Okay, by using this formula, as I said. So once you know dry density, that how from where you get the dry density? From the bulk density. Okay, and specific gravity, density of water we know. We can find out E. But how to find out the E max and the E minimum? So there are some experiments also. Okay, in the guide it is given. So representing the dry density in loosest and densest condition and the natural condition as given this. See, it is very difficult to measure and represent this E instead of here E max and E. Let us write in density term. E is equal to Z gamma W by D gamma D minus 1. Okay, this is a minimum minus natural E. This is max minus minimum. Okay, there's a mistake here. No, okay, E max. So what we are writing is here in a density term. What you are written in a density instead of void ratio. This is the definition of void ratio. E can be written in like this, can be substituted here. Now, how we can find out this minimum density and maximum density now? Instead of minimum void ratio and maximum void ratio, now I made it into minimum density and the maximum density. How we can find out this minimum density and the maximum density of a sand, suppose coarse grained sand, when we can say that minimum density and when we say that maximum density? Minimum density, when you will get it? If the volume is more. Understand, mass can be same. Maximum density, when you pack into a smaller volume, we'll get the maximum density. So there are some tests. Okay, in IX code it is given. What generally we do is for determination of minimum dry density, a representative, a oven dry sample is taken. The sample is then polarized and sieved through the required sieve. The minimum density is found by pouring a sand or a soil using the pouring device. Some device would be there. So what we'll do is with a height of 25 mm, that means 2.5 centimeter, we slowly pour this sand. Understand? What we do, we slowly by using conical this one, we try to slowly pour the sand. Then that particular sand would be in a loose state. Okay, mass we know, volume we know, we can find out this minimum density. Understand? That means the free fall from a 25 mm, just 25. If we increase the free fall, okay, then soil become sand become dense. So minimum 2.5 only we have to keep, and slowly we have to release the sand. Then slowly, what happens? It will try to fill this particular container. Okay, generally what we use is uh, the spout of a pouring device is so adjusted that the height of fall is 25 mm. Okay, the mass and volume of the soil deposited are found, and volume also can be found, and mass also we know we can find out this minimum density. For maximum density, what we need to do, what we have to do is for maximum density, again it will be over driven and dried, and what we'll do is we'll put in a mold and we'll try to vibrate it for 8 minutes. Then what happens? The sand become dense. Okay, we'll keep some surcharge also on the top of that sand. We take in a beaker or a cylinder, okay, and we'll keep some surcharge on that, and we'll try to vibrate it as much as possible. 8 minutes we'll vibrate it. All the sand would particle would be settles and becomes dense. Then how we can find out the volume? Maximum density, mass we know, volume we know. Volume would be very less because we have made it very dense. Okay. Likewise, we can find out this maximum density. Understand? So instead of finding the maximum wide ratio and minimum wide ratio, we are doing it as, because it's very difficult to find out. That's why we are able to find out the maximum density and the minimum density, because we have converted that particular formula into in density format. We are written in a density format instead of wide ratio format, this particular formula. Okay, either you should remember this one, convert this one, or we should remember this one. This is the definition for the relative density. So relative density is, see, this is the max, this is natural, this is E minimum. Okay, so E we know, so we can get this formula, and from that we can find out it. Okay, sometimes we do some weight analysis also for this, getting the maximum density. That means what we'll do is we'll make the sand in a fully saturated state. When it is saturated, it would be dense, right? So all the voids would be filled and the sand will be settled. That will give the maximum. This one we'll remove the. We'll try to shake it, okay, and again apply little surcharge, and we remove that water which is above the sand. Then we see that the sand would be fully saturated, and we'll particularly we can measure the volume of that sand, okay, in that particular cylinder. And mass we know. Mass, how we find out? Again, dry the sample and we find out the mass, and the volume we know, which is very small. Okay, in that way weight analysis also we can do it, and we can find, our aim is to find out maximum density and the minimum density. Understand? So likewise we can find out this relative density. Okay, now let us see one example of this one. Is it visible now? Hope you are following. Please respond.
Yes, sir.
You are following, right? Okay. Now, okay, now, so where we were, yeah. Now, look at this one. So, this is a sieve analysis. Okay, how generally you do on your laboratory test, or generally how you can find out the sieve analysis, classify the soil. Here, 900 grams soil sample is taken. Imagine sand, okay, 900 grams. Then what we'll do? We'll do the sieve analysis. What are the sizes of the sieves? Already we have seen at the bottom we keep the pan, which is passes through the 75 micron. Then above this one is which is written on all these things up to here is sand. 75 to 4.75 is sand. This is gravel. Understand? So in line we'll try to uh, keep this pan at the bottom over that 75 micron over that 150 212 4.25 4.6 mm 1 mm 2 mm 4.75 mm. Okay. So from 75 to 4.75 sand, above the 4.75 we have gravel. Okay, so like that what we'll do, we'll try to sieve it as we have seen in the last class. Okay, then what we are finding it in the tabular column. So these are the sieve sizes and these are the mass retained on each sieve. Okay, and when you add it, all these things, mass retained and this one, you should get 900 grams. This is the mass retained on each sieve. Okay, so on 20 mm sieve, that means 2 centimeter, 35 grams, 40 grams, 80 grams, 150 grams, and so on. So if you add everything, okay, and you add pan thing also, pan in the pan left is 75 gram. Okay, so this is the fine grain soil. 75 gram is the fine grain soil in this particular soil. Okay, this 75 gram. It is written in the pan. It is passes through 75 micron. So above this one, 25, 35, 55, 115, 140, 150, and 150 and 180. Okay. So written on this one, so up to 150 it is sand. Then written on the 4.75 is the other gravel. This much gram gravel is there, this much gram sand is there, and this much gram silt and the clay is there. 75 is silt and the clay because this is deposited in the pan. Now what I told to do it, once you calculate the mass written on each sieve, you do the percentage written on the each sieve. That means divided by 900 multiplied by 100. That will give the percentage 3.89. So 16.67. So sand is more in this, is it not? 16. This portion is quite high. Gravel also less and this clay portion also very less. So this is more sand, is it? Then what we do, we calculate the percentage return on each one. We calculate cumulative percentage return. That means cumulative means we'll keep on adding this one. Okay, first 3.89 plus 3.89 plus 4.44, 8.33 plus 8.89, 17.23. Again add it, again 16.67 add it. Likewise, these are the cumulative return. Now what we have to do, percentage return, how we'll find out? 100 minus this one. This is percentage return. Percentage finer. Okay, percentage finer, n value. Okay, 100 minus this one 300 minus 8.3, 100 minus 17, 100 minus 33, 100 minus 50, and so. Okay, so likewise. So we got the percentage finer. We know the diameter. What we'll do now? We'll plot a graph. Understand? So look at this graph, S type of curve. Okay, stretched S. Percentage finer on the vertical axis, horizontal axis, particle size. This is a log graph. Okay, already we have seen similar graph. This is percentage finer and the particle size. You just plot it. Understand? So particle size distribution plot is drawn here, percentage this one. Now what is the definition of coefficient of uniformity and coefficient of curvature? Coefficient of uniformity is defined as d60 by d10 Now find out how we can find out the D60. That means 60% finer. Okay. 60% finer than this one. D60. The particle size, effective size of particle. This one is 1.55. Okay. If this is 1.55 divided by D10. 0.11, you will get the 13 coefficient of uniformity. What is the definition of coefficient of curvature? D30 square divided by D60 into D10. What is D30? .4 D30 0.43 square, sorry 53 multiplied by D60 and the D60 and D10. Both are here only, D60 D10. Now can you tell me this which kind of soil it is exactly? Can anyone guess? If the coefficient of curvature is in between 1 and 3, what kind of soil it is?
Well-graded soil.
Yes, well-graded soil. That's the reason the curve also, look at this curve, well-graded type. Yes, type. Suppose if you get like this and here hump or something like that, gaply graded, or if you get only vertical, it would be uniformly distributed, I mean uniform curve. Okay, only vertical. And this is well graded soil, that we have seen the values of coefficient of, where is that? Here you can see. Okay, so the value Cu is less than 2 are uniform soil. Sands with the value of Cu 6 or more, this is well graded sand. Okay, 6 Cu6 and more, it is 10. Okay, well graded sand. Gravel with a value of 4. Okay, if you are getting 4 and little more, you will get gravel. Okay, here coefficient of curvature is lying between 1 and 3. This is the well graded soil actually. Understand? So it is having uh, all the types of particles. It is having all the type of particles. That's why it is called the well graded soil. Likewise, we can classify the soil by using the CO analysis. CO analysis is used for coarse grain soil. What are those coarse grain soils? Sand plus gravel is called the coarse grain soil. So those soil of bigger particle size, that means above 75 micron, which is written on the 75 micron, are called sand and the gravel. When we call it as a gravel, if it is above this one, 4.75, written on the 4.5, not passing, written on the 4.5 is called the gravel. If it is whole written on the 75 micron is called coarse grain soil. In the coarse grain we have gravel and this is the sand. These are all the silt and the clay after passing through, called the silt and the clay. So likewise, so maybe next class we'll focus on this pan thing. Okay, whatever we have collected in the pan. So there is the method called hydrometer analysis. So that also will give the curve. I mean, here whatever we have drawn is this S curve. Okay, so up to what we have drawn, So not 75 mm, right? So this particular curve also we can draw it. The 75, we'll go with the 75 micron up to, okay. So likewise we can draw the remaining portion below the 75 also we can draw, and we can touch this curve. Understand? So till now we have drawn up to here, okay, up to here. What is this? 20 mm. See, we have 20 mm sieve, okay. We have started with the 20 mm sieve, and then up to here we have drawn. So likewise, these are the very important and the uh, interesting topics. So maybe next class we'll focus on the soil which is passed through the 75 micron.